coming to this lovely after party slash brunch. Let's give it up one more time for the new bride and groom. Their first barbecue party at the Anhalt house, and hopefully the first of many to come. Donna?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't say mama.
In typical Anhalt fashion, we're trying to squeeze 18 parties into one this weekend.
It's a small weekend.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be nice to celebrate my big brother Matthew, who turns 30 in about 2
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Matthew. Surprise. Happy birthday to you.
Oh yes, you're right.
And in typical Anhalt fashion, we don't just have a U.S. air cake. We thought it'd be funny to do something a bit creative and fun, and have a roast of Matthew Anhalt. So Matthew, if you could assume the roasting stool. And so what's going to happen is we're going to invite some of his friends, family up here, and they're going to roast Matthew. They can bring up anything from airplane porn to the way he dresses or how many times he says "jossum" in one day, which I think it's up to like 218.
19, you just said it.
219, thank you. So to kick things off, I think we can start with Mr. Benjamin Schutz, who's going to say a few words. And after that, we could just jump in one after another, kind of rapid fire. And we also have some videos of some of Matthew's friends who couldn't be here, who live in various parts of the country, which we can all huddle around a computer or TV very shortly.
Should we start timing the talks?
There's no bet for this. I don't know how long
There's no 50 minutes here, I promise.
The floor is Benjamin's.
Okay. If any of you don't know me, I'm Ben, Anhalt family friend, known Matt, 2005 probably, since?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, so I have to do this. I'm sorry, I was very anxious when Donna told me we're going to do a roast. I'm like, no. This is going to be sweet. So, I'm going to open it up. Goulet! That is the call. You've probably heard this and you've been around Matt or me and wondered what this word means. If you watch the best of Will Ferrell and SNL, how many have you? You'll know what I mean. You'll see this kid, he's dressed up as the entertainer Robert Goulet. It's caught on huge in 2005, and so ever since, you know, Matt and I have always, whenever we see each other, it's always like, Goulet, Goulet, every single time, it never fails. We'll be 80 years old, and I'll still say this. It's almost like a word of approval. So, he'll call me, and, you know, we'll talk, and I'll be like, I just saw that Jaws extended version on TV. And he'll say, Goulet. Matt's an overall good guy, so it disappoints me to tell you, I don't have a lot of dirt on him. He's a good guy, you know, I can't completely, oh, his sister might disagree, or family, but whatever. But I can tell you some good stories, and a couple of these stories speak to the character of Matt kind of in a negative light. So,
I need to leave.
there might be one where I don't care. You're all family here, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start light. Okay, this actually is not really kind of a roast, but it's a funny story. I fished with this guy all the time in 2005. That's all we did. I call it the summer of Ben, where I didn't do anything but drink on their patio and basically just eat Prairie Ridge burgers and yeah, passed out and repeated every single day.
Awesome.
I'll vouch for that.
Yeah, I mean, the bulldog will tell you. But anyway, this story's pretty good because this guy doesn't fish that much, and I make it like my life to fish. So we always go out to Lake Bloomington. My family has a cabin. And on one particular day, it was just very cloudy out, and we didn't think we'd catch anything. This guy sticks the pole in the water for 30 seconds and catches a 5-pound bass. No one ever does that. Who does? I'm like, you lucky bastard. And he's so mad. He's always like, yes, White Sox, big one. It's like, shut up with your White Sox. Yeah, and it was with this giant pole that it's like nobody catches anything with this thing. So I had to say that. The next story is pretty good, and this actually, you might be a little bit offended by this, but I don't care. He came up to Chicago to visit me with his girlfriend at the time in my Chicago apartment. And in a neighborhood not so good, in Humboldt Park. Oh, I'll get to that later. So we were going out to the bars, and we didn't want to take a cab because it was going to be expensive. So we waited on the corner of the street and heard gunshots up the road. And a car skidded by, and we're like, oh shit, his girlfriend's like hiding behind a brick wall like this. Like he's laughing the whole time this is going on. The bus driver comes along to pick us up. He opens up the door and he goes, get on, y'all. They shooting, y'all. And his girlfriend's like shaking. He's like, haha, this is the funniest thing ever. I'm like, he's not consoling her at all. Like, what a dick. It's terrible. I was laughing maybe a little, but you were laughing hard. The next story, I don't think anyone knows about. This is between us. I have to bring this out. It's funny. At the time, Matt wasn't dating anybody, which, big surprise. But we were at Maggie Miley's in downtown Normal. And there was this girl who was single I wanted to set him up with. I'm like, oh, they'd be perfect, you know. I mean, even though she's in Chicago, let's like have a little bit of fun. She's single, he's single. So I'm like, all right, well, let's get them to exchange numbers. Well, this girl's a little bit forthcoming, and she decided just to be funny to send him like a scandalous like side boob shot. And he looks at me after he gets it, and he's like, this girl's way too aggressive, man. I'm like, I said no man ever. Like, who says that? Like, she's handing it to you on a silver plate. Like, what are you talking about? So, no one knows that. I had to say that. And of course, Lindsay, I told her at the time, she's like, I don't think it's going to work out.
I never knew about that one.
Yeah, it happened. It happened. So there you have it. Interesting, right? You could say, you know, he's had some hardships with the ladies. How much is he charging in Vegas anyway? You a preferred client or? Sorry, I had to bring it up.
I work all the time.
You know, anyway, that's really all I have. I know other people want to get up here and talk, but I had to, you know, at least tell a few stories. Really happy for you. 30 is a really good year, and I'm just so glad to be here and we could do this. So, thanks.
Alright, I'll go. Oh boy. Matt Anhalt and I, we go way back. Well, Matt and I, for those that you don't know, we went to high school together, and of course, I was friends with his sisters. Didn't try and date him or anything, but that's honestly a lot of things. But we go way back. Matt.
Yes, he has a baby too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I gotta be a dad now.
You did
But Matt even lived with me at one point, and we had a little romance, and it was very romantic. But he's the son we ever had. So before I start, I'd just like to thank for all those who love and adore Matt for coming. But since nobody does, then I'll just go ahead and get started. I'm a zinger type, by the way. I'm a story type. So there's a few. You probably think I'm here to say something profound, but I'd like to remind you here that we're talking about Matt, so probably none of that. Matt, I talked to your mom the other day, and she said she's really proud that you now have a real job. Been looking for burnout lights. That's not really a real job.
Someone's got to do it.
That's true. They say good things come in small packages. Now I know why you call your junk small. You're always saying Donna Anhalt is a saint, and she truly is. Because she must be to not have already put you up for adoption.
Oh, not my baby boy.
She did. They returned it.
Yeah,
Matt, Katie, and I are always calling you our son, but in reality, I'd like to start calling you our redheaded stepchild.
Matt says he's constantly getting confused for a movie star in Vegas. Must be Chewbacca. Matt says his last girlfriend wasn't his type, but I now know what his type is. Inflatable. Roasted! Matt, you really are special, and I totally mean that in the Olympics sort of way. Matt told me that he would like to try to not use a golf cart the next time we go golfing. I thought about that, and in reality, I think it's probably going to be cheaper just to use public transportation for me. Now, Matt used to be a football player back in high school. He had real muscle and strength, but luckily that's all behind him now. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Please heed that advice and stop coming home.
That's my baby boy.
I now realize why your middle name is Olis. It's because world's creepiest baby wouldn't fit on your birth certificate. I also know why you got rid of your dog. Turns out it attracted more chicks than you did. But overall, Matt, you're a real good friend, and I know you'd go to the ends of the earth for me. Now you just got to learn to stay there.
You got some real good buddies.
That's it? Okay, thanks everybody.
That baby you hear crying, it's all Matt's fault.
No, it's their baby.
I guess I got
Here comes Danny. Where's the light?
You got the video?
I actually didn't really prepare anything, so
Yeah!
it was a bad So I'll just start to tell some stories from us growing up from high school together. We pretty much, I think freshman year was when, I don't think there was ever a point in high school where we weren't hanging out. But one of the more memorable experiences I think that we had together was a trip that myself and Jake took with the entire Anhalt family to go down to Florida.
Whoop, whoop.
And
I let them drive alone.
yes, we did. And that's why we got there 2 hours before you got there.
Roasting Matt now.
That'll take much longer.
This isn't a Donna roast.
Yeah.
But one of the more memorable experiences on that trip was when Jake, myself, Matt, and Joe were sharing and Matt and I are in one bed and Jake and Joe are in the other bed, and all of a sudden I'm not awake at this point until I hear some rustling next to me, and Matt has gotten out of bed, he's walked over, and he proceeds to start beating the crap out of Joe with a pillow because Joe is snoring. It's woken no one else up, but all of a sudden Matt is just swearing at his brother and hitting him with a pillow, and then just comes back and just lays down and tries to go back. And so that, I wanted to tell that as just a good experience that we've had together, but I think the roasting side of things, I have to focus on the social media presence. I think Ben brought up, and I think David as well has hinted at the female situation. I think a little personal marketing might work for you, because when you take a look at your Facebook profile, for example, the rough estimate, the last 20 Facebook posts that I've seen, there are 15 various shots of Boeing Model A. And there are 5 Shark Week related. So, normal people, I think this is the thing now to kind of post like cute pictures of pets or friends and say, oh, hello, pet's name, whatever. For Matt's, it's, oh, hello, Boeing 2138. I hope you had a nice flight in today.
Do you even do your job?
So I think, if you kind of start sharing, unless that is...
Keep that in mind.
But I think overall, though, I think you should start focusing on what a good guy you are and let that come out on Facebook, because I think people will care a little bit more about that. But I appreciate appreciated having you as a friend for as long as I have. And, I'm glad.
Ask anybody else. Come on. Where's Justin?
Is anyone else up for? Wait, where'd Justin go?
What? Justin, who's hiding in the background? Get over here. What? What? No, come on.
What?
What? You can say a few words. You've known Matthew a really long time.
Yes, I have known Matthew a very long time. Since kindergarten. Holy crap, yes. Readily identifiable even then by wearing a plane on his person at all times. Even then I knew. I mean, look at this business. This ain't going anywhere. But yes, so I suppose if ever you have one lady love, it is just aircraft. So I don't actually know. Somebody mentioned plane porn. That's really weird because actually maybe we're just not going to tell that at all. I feel as though if we were to sort of delve into his search history, we may find some very curious things. Because really, I feel like from day one, just walking in and seeing everybody who was just, you know, and I think was at Miss Ball's kindergarten class?
Yeah, you had Mrs. Ball.
Yeah, Wayback Machine we just jumped into there. But so essentially from that very moment, it was clear just two things, I think. One, that this was a man who would be encountering planes for his entire life one way or another. And second, that he would be largely inescapable for the next 17 years. But really, it hasn't been so bad. I mean, we both Groomsmen and Jake's wedding and stuff like that. And
You've been able to put up with me that long.
it's true, it's
He'll be
true.
here soon.
And even a couple, oh yes, and I would love to hear the things he has to say. And now again, occasionally we'll catch like a video game online and stuff like that. And just, you're god awful, I have to say that. But, you know, we do, it's okay, maybe we'll learn one day. But nonetheless, I will say, I did travel largely, you know, an hour and a half out here to just witness this great event. The public shaming of Matt is not something that I think I would ever. I am definitely glad to have called you friend and to have known you for as long as I have, and I am happy that you are arriving at 30 with grace. So, congratulations.
Okay, Matt. Anybody else?
I don't have much prepared. Sam did steal my story. And actually,
There's a few
I think
details that were missed.
Yeah, like somebody knocked on the door and said,
Like the manager came in,
Oh yeah,
and then
that's right.
Joe looked over with wide eyes saying, "It wasn't even that loud."
that's her story. But I think I was snoring last night.
Oh, there's
Is that Jake? There's Jake.
Yes.
Get Jake in here.
Jake.
Jake!
get in here.
He's got a
Child.
Little one and Joe.
Dad right now.
But until Jake gets in here, the vivid, I guess, memories I have, because we used to share a room way back in the day, besides my snoring habits, which I apologize, I'm sure a lot of you in this room have.
Yeah, you were snoring last night.
Yeah, I apologize. I wish I could stop, but I don't
That's
know.
right, James is with you too.
I'm usually sleeping when it happens, so.
Yeah, I think.
Usually. Yeah, but I remember vividly when I was in junior high and a little bit of high school, Matthew would wake up like extra early just to kind of get ready with like his wardrobe and his outfits and his hair. And I just woke up, literally roll out of bed with like 5 minutes to go. Because we lived right down the street and I never, you know, didn't coif my hair like I do today or anything like that. And I looked at him and I'm like, and it came to a certain point where before dances and stuff, he would use an actual blow dryer to blow dry his hair. And I don't think anything has changed in your wardrobe since like 1990. I've been trying to, you know, persuade him and kind of influence him with, you know, some maybe higher fashion sense. I mean, the Jocelyn shorts are great, maybe for like a family event, but if you're trying to go to like the Hard Rock Cafe on the Strip and, you know, maybe choose a different option. I don't know. Or the Gap cargo shorts, the flip-flops. I don't know. I'm just saying.
And how many graphic tees do you have?
It's okay. It's okay. There's room for improvement. It's okay. And also, Matthew has a great work ethic, but I also remember having some great times. We used to work together a few summers at Binward.
Yes.
Bloomington Normal Water and Reclamation District.
Jake will tell us all about that.
It was a lot of fun, and we spent about 3/4 of our time not doing the work we were supposed to do, and building what we called a bat cave. We built 2 bat caves in a distant portion of this kind of area because we were in charge of the grounds, and so we spent about 75% of our time building this elaborate bat cave and making barriers so our bosses couldn't see us when they rode by. And we would carve stuff in the trees, like how many days we went there without getting caught. And I remember on my last day of the summer, we went to the Bat Cave 2, which was not as hidden. So this might have been our fault. But I remember I was like out like a rock. I was just asleep. I might have been snoring, I don't know. And I think Matthew was playing baseball, because we constructed our own wooden bats, of course. And our boss just comes around the tree and just is like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And you know, we literally got caught with our hands down our pants, and we're just like, we just gave up.
Who found you? Was it Randy that found you?
No, Kent. But that was a good memory. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun.
You can laugh at that one now.
You can laugh.
But Jake still works there, so watch.
Yeah. You guys definitely set the bar for what not to do. No, and I'm not kidding. Every single summer helper we hire are told about the bat cave. It is a staple now.
I take pride in that. It's on my resume and my LinkedIn. So
they have
not doing anything.
You guys have officially constructed the what not to do summers helper manual.
that's fine. Oftentimes you want to know what not to do. It's better. Jake, did you want to say any words about this gentleman?
Come on, Jake. You guys
Have any other words?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'll say it.
Jake Kyoto, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up.
Give it up for Jake. Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You want to see Maddie?
You want to come sit with me?
You want to see me for a minute? No? Alright, well, I'll keep this real quick. She wants to swim. Real quick about you.
Don't put her foot in the cake, Jake.
Jake, watch the cake. Go on the other side.
Here, come over here so you can play with this hair. I don't know. We discussed the Florida trip.
Yeah.
We discussed that. Okay.
Oh, you tell it the best though. You were the ones like, I didn't do anything.
Do you still have those nightmares? Still? Because I remember, like, we used to talk until at least like 3 in the morning, calling me crying and saying how you could possibly never forgive him. And
This is true. I wake up terrified at times, sweating.
Well, that was my main story I was going to tell. I'm not going to lie. You killed it. Really. Now I
Jake,
feel like
you've known
an
this
idiot.
kid since kindergarten. You have no other stories with Matthew. Give me a
And
break.
really, that's.
You don't want to bring
Kind
up
of
John
funny.
Wayne, 7th grade.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Can we play that later?
Yeah.
That would be embarrassing. Yeah.
Or is
That was really
or
good.
about 6th grade dance and flowers to Betsy.
I got that one. That's me.
Oh. Surprisingly enough, as long as I've known you, unfortunately, I really don't have too many embarrassing stories about you. Surprisingly,
He's a clean cookie.
I wouldn't go with that. I just missed the meat of it coming here after you guys did. Yeah, I think when we did, what was that, a book report for humanities?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was, okay.
Interview with an artist.
Yeah. We gotta find that.
Who, it was you two and
You, Jonathan
Jonathan
Stein.
Stein.
Tell him what
Who
you
did
did. It
you-
was awesome.
I can't remember what we did.
You did
I
John
can't remember what I
Wayne.
had for dinner
You
yesterday.
did you did John Wayne and John Ford.
director.
Yeah, and they just
Who were you? You were-
Matthew was an interviewer.
Yeah, but who did you?
He was
Who's
the
your
interviewer,
character?
and let's just say his acting chops were top notch.
Oh yeah.
He was you were very much like, so John Wayne, tell me about that.
Does anybody know how to take VHS to DVD?
Yeah.
Because that is definitely But I'm glad I get to talk now because I'm probably going to be damn dead by the time that you get married. So I'm glad that everybody's here and we get to say at least a couple good and embarrass you a little bit while your family's here. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I don't have very many embarrassing stories with you. I do remember all the times talking about sports in high school and
Sleeping on the couch downstairs.
countless sleepovers and all the homework that we didn't do. And,
Now we find out.
yeah,
Working together every summer.
yeah, we worked together for
7 summers.
7 summers.
Wow.
I think there at one point you were actually making more than I was for all the summers you were there. Making more as a summer helper as you were, because they got a quarter raise every summer they came back. So I think you actually made more at the district than you did in your first job, didn't you? You were there
Quite
so
possibly.
long. We'll go swim just a minute, okay?
Matt, I do have to say too, like the most angry, like legitimately angry I can remember being at you was when you absconded your Anhalt Christmas family charade game moderating duties and graciously passed that along to me and forced me to come up with dozens of book titles and movie titles and television
That's
show
right, you
titles
did that for us, yeah.
which resulted in a constant stream of different Anhalt family members coming up to me and complaining. I've heard of this book. Who's seen that one? That was terrible.
I do that every year, it doesn't matter.
And so I was...
Wait, I just thought of something that's really hilarious.
Me too,
I need to jump in. So, one of Matthew's pet peeves, everyone in the media family knows growing up here, especially using the shower upstairs, is oftentimes if you run hot water downstairs, the water upstairs turns cold. And precious Matthew, he cannot take a cold shower. So when you have that immediate switch, you literally get, who's using the hot water? God damn it!
That is so true.
And that was a direct
Quote.
So if you want to like piss off Matthew, just make him take a cold shower. Or no, just like have him take a hot shower and then immediately switch off the hot water. And he'll cry like a little girl. It's the same water, it's just a different temperature. It doesn't make you any less beautiful.
Let me jump up there too. I'm
Elizabeth,
gonna
jump up.
add to that another way if you want to piss off Matthew. He's got his little quirks. He's a hard sleeper, okay? And if you, at any point, especially in the basement, because most of you have probably crashed at some point down there, know that it's pitch black. If you at any point wake him out of a deep sleep, he'll be laying there and go, God damn it! He'll swing.
Every time.
He is
Every
a
time.
swinger. He is a swinger, so don't do that.
No, that is true. That is every time. That is true.
There's being one of his sisters too. There's a couple things I want to. There's a couple things I want to put in there as well. Why you might not have a significant other right now. I think if we're gonna go, I mean, everyone's kind of poking fun at now, but if we're gonna find out the problem, we got to go to the root of it, which takes us back years to when Matthew was like 7, 8 years old. And again, his wardrobe now hasn't changed for about a decade. I think it's like every 10 years his wardrobe changed.
You just
But
got rid of
between
your burner shirt,
between
didn't you?
between about
Is that
5
right?
and maybe like 15 years old, his wardrobe was a graphic tee and sweatpants and socks. Normal people, how do you wear socks?
Like normal people.
Like normal people. Matthew wore socks that were long, and he rolled them down so there was a ring around his ankle, and then the sweatpants and his gym shoes.
Looked like he was wearing very small water raiders.
It's like he needed his feet to float or something.
It was strength training.
To the point, Catherine and I gave him so much crap for this that my parents, I remember this, had to sit us on the porch and say, you need to stop making fun of him. They were so mad at us, and Catherine and I literally said, well, stop making fun of him when he stops looking like an idiot. So that might be one. The other, just like, can you blame us? again, goes back to the root. Bless your heart, you are so sweet when it comes to the ladies. But you're awkward sometimes. 6th grade dance, Betsy Cooper. Visualize this with me, okay? 6th grade dances at Metcalf, okay? They're in the school gym. You don't really ask anybody, you just kind of go because you're like 12, 13 years old and it's fun. But Matthew wanted to ask Betsy. Fine, great. You're the only one that's coming with the date, but fine. And Matthew, being the romantic that he was at 12 years old, was like, I gotta get her a flower. Okay, fine. Finds a carnation, okay, which ladies, we all know that carnations are kind of the poor man's flower, but still. He's 12, doesn't know any better. And thought that, not only that, because he's very creative and very thoughtful, so he wanted to put that with some baby's breath. But he didn't have anything to put it with, so he got some Scotch tape and taped it together. And I'll never forget when Betsy got it. She looked so sweet. She was just kind of like, thanks. So, just a couple things, you know, going.
Come a long way since
You have come a long way.
Where's Betsy today?
Betsy ran off to Japan. Hasn't been back to the States in 5 years.
Way to go, man.
Not even a joke. She's in Japan right now.
Japan now.
She's hiding out, yeah. Not sure if it's gone from there all the way to the other side, because I think James and I in Shanghai, bless your heart, he, as his sister, he does text me. He's like, I met a girl, tell me about it. And we're like, well, what's her name this week? And we've gone on a lot of dates. And I'm not sure if like it's gone from like the duct tape, the Scotch tape flowers, all the way to like after the first date. What are our kids' names going to be? Like I don't know. Or in Vegas, they're just, you know, James and I are like, what's her name? Candy, Chastity. So, she's a stripper, but she's putting her way through med school, so it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of said, as Matthew's younger sister, that Matthew was never the older, kind of protective type. So like when James came around, I was like, hey, don't worry about it. However,
Catherine's more terrifying.
And Joe's just a drinking buddy. But on a personal note, I have to say from James's speech last night and just this last week, I can't thank you enough, big brother, for everything you've done this last week. James can attest to that. You really did come through. So. Keep texting me girl advice. I'll tell you what to do. I'll give you a Josh Groban song lyric to throw in the phone. I did that. That was me. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody else have any tidbits? Where's his father? Where's Ricky?
He's back there.
I'm here.
You want to say a few tidbits, Rick?
He's my kid. I love him. He's got great friends. Who could not be? What more could you ask for?
That's right.
So as I did mention at the beginning, Matthew does have some distant friends from Vegas and Phoenix and around the country that did actually have some video submissions. So if you want to, you can huddle around. You can do it right here. And it's pretty hilarious. I've screened this myself.
Ones?
Yes.
It might be in
Matthew, you gotta watch this.
Matthew, come over here. What?
You know about this?
I do.
Sorry. But if you want to see we can just do it right here, Matthew. You can sit over here. A tour of Matthew's house and his best friends out there, just messing with all of his shit. And,
What the hell is this?
Alright, we'll go. We'll go.
He'll explain that. This is is all Matthew's apartment, guys. Matthew's
They're junkies in all of your bed.
Wow.
Did you get to see this?
Alan.
Yes.
Alan is is he wearing my shirt? Yeah.
Oh, no, man, nice.
Hey, that's the model you had.
Your Roxbury shirt on.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
At least y'all can see Matthew's face.
Oh.
It's very nice.
All of his clothes.
And all of his clothes and all of his stuff.
All your stuff, huh, man?
Oh no.
Oh my God. Wow. Oh.
Is that your guitar?
Guitar Hero.
Guitar
Hero.
Yeah.
Man has no musical talent.
No.
Just Guitar
Oh man.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh. Yes. Classic.
They got this in too. You better not be mad at them now.
No.
He's in rage right now.
He's like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. You're touching my stuff.
Your fake laughing is entertaining.
Well, that's right. I did leave my work pants there.
Sweet tits.
This is great.
Now these are all people you met down there.
These are all my friends in Vegas.
It's a big group.
Oh.
You sound surprised. You have a lot of friends, man. Reggie Debbie's like, I think people like you.
They're all paid up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you have a good selection of women there.
They're all married. They're all friends.
That was nice.
That was really nice. I think I did all.
That was awesome. No. Oh, there's David.
Who are these two?
That's Dave and Matt.
He loves his room a mess, don't you, Matthew?
We know where you live.
Some of the bed with you.
Yes.
That's great. Oh my God.
In fact, he has lights under his bed.
Yes.
Yes.
Another reason to scare them.
Oh.
Light switch that turns on music too.
You have lighting under your bed?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, there's.
Yeah! Puts you afraid of the dark. It's really heavy from airplane. That was great.
Now I want to see Jonathan's video.
Oh. Thank you very much, everybody.
Happy birthday, man.